Joining me now on this episode of Locally Sourced EP is Mr. Justin Case with New Beginnings Realty, but he just mentioned he is an independent realtor, and
Right.
just wanted to thank him for joining me today. And we're back in the saddle with Locally Sourced, especially everything local. But Justin, I have you on today. Been trying to get you on for a while, actually, but I know
Yeah, man, it's been a little while.
yeah, we've disclaimer here for everyone watching. Me and Justin first met working over at KDBC Channel 4 a while ago, right? I don't even remember how long it's been, man.
Yeah, it's probably '07, '08, and I mean, honestly, before that, we went to school together. I mean, we were
True.
just kind of a grade apart, but yeah, we had all the same, same friends and
Yeah,
same kind of circles. So
yeah. And I told my wife I was interviewing you. She's like, "You're interviewing Justin?" She remembers you, so it's
yeah,
kind of cool.
yeah. I went to school with your wife longer than you did because
Yeah,
I think we went to middle school and maybe even elementary school together
yeah,
with
man.
her. So yeah, that's cool, man. And it's funny, at KDBC is where I met my wife, and we've been married for, man, almost 12 and a half years. We have 4 kids, and it's going great.
Dude, that's awesome to hear, man. I really appreciate you jumping on with me today and just talking everything home buying, home selling. But let's do it, man. I mean, talk a little about how let's start off first. How did you get into the real estate business?
Yeah, that's a great question. As you know, when I was working at KDBC, my background is in graphic design and marketing, and so that's what I was doing there at KDBC was, the graphics on the morning and noon shows. And but even before that, my degree is in graphic design, advertising, and I've worked at ad agencies and all these things, and did a lot of freelance work. And after KDBC, I actually joined, became on staff at a church, and I was doing graphic design and media direction for a church for almost 8 years. And while I was doing that, I was freelancing on the side, and actually after my wife, who was a news producer at KDBC, um, after she left TV, she got her real estate license. And so what I was doing was I was doing all of her marketing. I was doing, and even as small as just designing business cards and flyers and things like that. And we really saw a direct correlation with how her business grew just from creative, marketing, creative ads. And so I helped her through that relationship. I got relationship with some local home builders, with some other real estate companies and stuff like that. So I really kind of got my feet wet in real estate through the graphic design kind of marketing standpoint. Um, we decided to start having a family, so she stepped away from her real estate career. And years later, after nudging me
Mhm.
since the very beginning to get my license, I finally said, "All right, let me try it." And so I've been licensed for just over 6 years, and it's been an incredible journey. I really feel that I found my kind of calling and niche in real estate, and applying that background of, you know marketing and graphic design and creativity to it as well. So yeah, so that's how it all started.
Wow, that's a pretty crazy. I mean, what's the complication from jumping from doing what you were doing with, like, graphic design, things like that? How was that? How was it with you guys making the jump over to just being everyone doing the real estate?
Yeah, super scary because there's no cushion in real estate. A lot of people will say you either sink or swim
Mhm.
because it's 100% commission.
Right.
There's no salary, there's no one paying your insurance. There's no support at all. You either are going to make it or not. And the fact is, I don't know the exact percentage, but I think it's extreme, like 80% or something of realtors will drop out in their first 2 years.
Oh, wow.
So as a realtor, you always are kind of like, dreaming and longing for those goals to be like, can I make it 2 years? Can I make it 5 years? Um, but yeah, no, it was scary to say the least because I I didn't want to do anything part-time.
Mhm.
So I stepped away from my full-time job in full-time ministry, which didn't pay a whole lot, but still that was our sole income at that point.
Mhm.
And I stepped away and decided I need to just jump in and honestly just trust God. And yeah, so it was scary to say the least, but I felt that I hoped at least that I had a little bit of a niche of
Mhm.
just that creative marketing. I noticed that I felt like there was a lack of that in the El Paso market of just, just
Yeah.
beautiful, well thought out graphics and just kind of creativity behind it. So I
Um,
kind of hoped that I could find a place there, and I think I did.
Dude, you're just to say the least, man, your photos, your graphics, even the commercials I've seen posted on Facebook, I haven't seen anyone else do that, dude. Like no, like I haven't seen any real estate agent jump in with both feet and just like create great ads or commercials that look just as stunning. I mean, the way
Well, I
you
appreciate it,
the way
man.
you have them shot, the way you have them edited are great. I always love your intros, especially when you're shooting yourself with a drone and the drone just lifts off. That's so cool.
Yeah, right.
And
There
then
he is back here, my drone.
yeah, I was gonna say,
I
was that the
yeah,
drone back there?
yeah, that's it, man. So yeah, so that's kind of where I felt is I wanted to have some some my hands in all aspects of it.
Mm,
And creativity is one aspect of it. A lot of realtors come from other sales backgrounds, and I don't have any sales backgrounds, any sales background. But I think that benefited me as well because I'm genuine, right? When I'm saying something, it's not to get to the next point. It's just we're just having a conversation, whether that's with a client, a customer, whatever.
right.
And I tell people this all the time. I said this isn't a home business. Being a realtor is not about selling homes because I'm not selling anything.
Mhm.
I'm helping people either buy or sell their home, right? So
Right.
I say this all the time. This isn't a house business. This is a people business. And so just building those relationships and earning that trust with people is really what this industry is about.
Right.
And yeah, so that creative marketing kind of helps, I think, tear a wall down where someone can kind of get to know you or feel like they know you, and that's the whole goal, right? Is to earn their trust, because my purpose is to help somebody, right, with the biggest purchase of their life.
Right.
And so it's important for there to be a strong line of trust. And again, I'm not there to sell them anything. I'm only there to guide them through the process. And that's my hope, is that I can, offer the best information so that they can make the best decision of their life.
I mean that's good to hear because I know a lot of like real estate agents out there are kind of like they just want to hurry up with the process and get it sold to them
Yeah.
for commission. I mean we
And they got
kind
a
of
bad rap.
yeah.
I mean, realtors are up there with like attorneys and used car salesmen of just like, assumed to be super sleazy. And it's so not true. I mean, there's so many amazing agents
I
in our
agree.
city. There's so many amazing realtors. But yeah, there's that kind of stigma and stereotype that's associated with it for sure. And then you got HGTV and Selling Sunset that paints this whole other picture that
Right.
is so inaccurate. But
I like how
whatever.
they make fun of it because it's like like they show the couples that have like $1 million budget and they're like
Right.
that it's like okay you can't that's kind of
Yeah,
weird.
and one's like a dog walker, and the other one is like a stay-at-home nanny. And you're like,
Right.
whoa, how do you have $1 million budget?
No kidding.
And then the realtor was like, all right, we're gonna go look at 3 houses, and you get to choose from these 3. And yeah, that's not how it works at all.
Yeah, like we went when we bought our home. It took us a little while, and it took us a couple of agents too because they weren't really, like I said.
Right.
There's not that not everyone's a good fit. I'll just leave it at that. But
And that's important. You mentioned that. apologize for stepping on your comment, but
No.
that's important. I mean, you want to kind of vet your agent and find someone that you have a connection with, and so yeah, that's super important. I'm glad that I'm. It's unfortunate that you had to go through a few agents to find it, but I'm glad you guys, decided that that was important enough for you to find someone that fit your style.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And if anyone's out there looking for a home for with Justin, man, he'll help you. I've he's good. He knows what he's doing.
Absolutely. Thanks, man.
No, and so I mean, what if let's talk about real estate these past couple years with the pandemic, because everything seemed to be like, I
Yeah.
mean, can you like talk a little about what's going on and why why it's happening a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So, 2018, 2019, they were what's called a buyer's market.
Mhm.
And honestly, for most of El Paso's history has been a buyer's market. That simply means that there are more buyers, or I'm sorry, more sellers than there are buyers, right? That means that buyers kind of have the upper hand. They can really pick and choose what home they want to purchase.
Right.
Sellers are kind of forced to give up a lot more to get that buyer to buy their property. So, for example, a new home, a new home builder in 2017, 18, 19. I mean, they had 15, 30 homes that were built just waiting for someone to buy a completed home. Today, the new home industry is behind by years. It's going to take years for the new home industry to catch up to the demand. And a lot of that has to do with the pandemic for a couple of reasons. You you hear these terms kind of growing up or whatever, and as we kind of become adults about like the perfect storm. And I
Right.
think that pandemic created the perfect storm. Depending on what side of the coin you're on, maybe it's not so perfect in real estate because what happened was we were all told to go home. Go home, let's ride this out. And so sadly, many people lost their jobs.
Mhm.
But I think more people forced to work from home. Kids were forced to school from home. And then all of a sudden, people were looking around their house going like, I don't like where I live. I don't have the space to have a home office. I mean, my home office used to be my kids' playroom. And I'm like, sorry guys, you guys need to move the Legos to the other room because daddy's got to work from home, right? And many people went through that same struggle. And so what happened was people were like, well, we don't fit here. If we're all home all day, we don't fit here. It's okay to sleep and have dinner and go to bed, and then everyone goes to work and school. But now that we're home all day, we don't fit anymore. So that created that created a demand. Okay. Then another thing that happened is um, the lumber mills shut down that all across the nation, right? That supplied the lumber to build homes. And so they were told, look, the country's shutting down, everyone go home. And they stopped making lumber. But what happened was nobody ever stopped buying houses. And no one ever stopped building houses. And so that major lumber supply we have just vanished within months. And then it became hectic, just like the whole toilet paper fiasco.
Right.
Lumber literally went up about 300%. So, I don't know how much time we have, but just to kind of put numbers to it, a standard kind of 1,700 square foot home might cost 15,000, let's say $15,000 of just lumber. And that's what the home builder is projecting. Hey, we'll sell you this home when it gets finished built at this price because we know we're projecting $15,000 for that lumber package. Well, the lumber gets delivered and then the builder gets the invoice for that lumber, and instead of 15,000, it's 40,000.
Dang.
And it's like, whoa, like where did that price come from? And it came from the shortage. And so the builder can't absorb $30,000 times 300 homes. They would go broke. They would go broke in hours. So they had to pass that expense on to the buyers. And so Sadly, buyers were on contract for a home. The builder said, I have to raise your price. And home prices went up probably $30,000 to $50,000 overnight. Not overnight, but over a 2 month
Yeah.
time period. And and then that forced a lot of buyers to not afford that home anymore. So then they had to go and buy resale homes. And those homes, this is what happens in eighth grade economics, right? We learned about it, supply and demand. The demand was great, the supply was low, and so the inventory just ran out. And so we're still recovering from that today. I think one misconception, Ray, that I hear a lot is a couple. One, that it's a bubble and it's going to burst, and like our market can't sustain this much demand. And I think where that comes from is because most of us are old enough to remember 2007, 2008 when the housing market crashed.
Yeah.
But what I think people are misunderstanding is two different things are happening. What happened then were flat out illegal lending practices, is what happened in 2007, 2008. It was all fake. The housing market was all fake. And it finally collapsed on itself. What's happening today is just economics 101, supply and demand. The demand is high, supply is low. So that's essentially kind of where we're at. Now, another misconception is that homes that we just don't have enough homes to sell. And the fact is, more homes are being sold in 2020 and 2021 than years past. So it's they're just not on the market very long. They're only on the market for, my average last year, for example, was 8 days on the market before that home has a contract. And more than likely that contract is over asking price. And there was 2 or 3 or 4 or 15 offers on that one property. And so that's what we're experiencing right now in our real estate market in El Paso and really across the globe.
So I know you mentioned it's a buyer and seller's market right now, or?
So now it's a seller's market. It has completely shifted. And here's a tangible example. And this is a few days old, but I looked at available homes that are not new construction, because that's a little misleading, because a builder can put their home on the market when there's nothing there yet. Mm-hmm. I'm talking homes that can actually be purchased and move into. I think I looked on maybe Friday or Saturday, and it was 303 homes were available in all El Paso County.
Whoa.
In the last 30 days, 417 homes have gone under contract. So what does that tell you? That tells you in less than 30 days, if no other homes come on the market, we'll be out of homes to sell or to purchase in less than 30 days. So that's a seller's market. That means sellers now have the upper hand, and sellers can not necessarily demand more than kind of fair market value, but they can maybe expect more than fair market value. And they, more than likely, are going to have multiple offers and people begging to buy that house. And so many sellers get to kind of pick and choose the terms they want and the things in their offer to sell their property.
So seller's market, huh?
Seller's market, yeah.
Wow. And then I know we talked about how it's been, mostly seller's market, but I mean, what are some tips and some advice for those first time home buyers, or those who are looking to maybe either sell and buy another home?
That's a great question. That's a great question. I think for first-time home buyers that might be renting and looking to get into the mix, right, to buy a home, really the best advice is to find a realtor. Find a realtor that you trust and that is knowledgeable, because you're going to have so many questions, and you want to make sure you find someone that is not going to just pass you along and like, hey, I'm too busy for you, because we're all busy. There's no lie, but. So find someone that you can trust. I would love to be that person, but I also can admit and agree that not all personalities are fit together. Mm-hmm. But I would love to be that person. If anyone's out there, I'd love to answer questions. But on top of that, some other kind of tips would be prepared. You need to get pre-approved. And even beyond being pre-approved for a home loan, which means you apply and they tell you, hey, this is how much home you can afford. You can go a step above that and be completely qualified, which means your finances and income and all that has gone through an underwriter, and an underwriter has already approved your purchase price. So that's one extra step that you could do as a home buyer.
Right.
The second thing is you're gonna need some capital and some assets. You're gonna need some cash in today's market. Um, Many homes, almost every home I sold last year, representing the seller and even representing buyers, was over asking price. And in some instances, the home didn't appraise for that price that was offered. And so, in many instances, that buyer needed to agree to make up that difference. And that's a whole nother concept. Might be too long here, but appraisal values and market values are two different things in a seller's market.
We'll have to have a
So
realtor
just kind of
show.
learning all those glossary terms and understanding the whole process. It can be daunting, so it's important to link up with a professional that can help talk you through that.
We'll have to have a real estate hour with Justin Cates every so
Yeah,
often.
right.
And get down
Is this
everything,
not an
man.
hour long? How long do we have, man? I
Oh,
could go on forever.
yeah, no, I'm not too sure because I have the free version of Zoom, so I think it's only 40 minutes.
Right. I think 40 minutes is our
Yeah.
max, right?
No, I mean it's just like it's so like I mean it was actually pretty crazy when we were buying our home, but and then now just to see the way the market's been, we've actually toyed with the idea of like selling our home, but we're like, what, we could sell our home, but how are we going to buy another one? You know, because they're
And that's a
so
yeah. Thanks for reminding me, because that's a fair fear to have.
Mhm.
But again, it's not impossible. You just have to have the strategy.
Right.
And you can't go into it blindly. You can't go into it. I mean, I have past clients reaching out to me from 2020, 2019, going like, man, we should have waited. I could have sold my house for so much more. And I'm like, yeah, but the house you're in, you would have had to pay so much more for it as well.
Right.
Like, I mean, in any aspect of life, it's never good to like dwell in the past.
Mhm.
We need to just continue to look in the future. And I love, get off topic for a second. I love just the basis of your show here, just keeping it local, because EP, I mean, you and I both grew up here. We went to school here. Our lives are here. Our wives the same. But EP is an incredible place. It's an incredible
It
culture. It's an
is.
incredible diverse community, and it's an amazing place to live. Um, and we're a diamond in the rough, and I think people are realizing that, and people are coming and investing money here, and that brings value, um, tangible and financial value to our city. And that's what also what's happening in our market is it's long overdue. El Paso is really kind of being identified as a great place to raise a family and a great place to invest your money.
Yeah, it's
And I mean, Amazon's here, and love them or hate them, it doesn't even matter. But Amazon is a trendsetter, and for Amazon to kind of break these walls down and bring their company here, many corporations are going to follow, and that's just going to continue to drive up property values.
yeah. No, I agree with you, man. I mean, I love El Paso, and it's like, I couldn't see myself moving away with like, I mean, all like, I know it'd be great to help, find a great job and move away and make some money, but I mean, like you said, families here, and it's just like, there's no other place like it, man. There's no other
Right.
place like it, and yeah, I did this just to, help out as much as I could. I don't have like a whole bunch of huge following, but it's just something that I could do, especially during the pandemic. So
I mean, it's awesome. I mean, we're all pent up at home anyways, right? Especially when this whole podcast started,
yeah,
pent up at home, like begging to do something. And so it's nice to like talk to faces instead of just
yeah,
your little tribe at home.
yeah.
So it's nice
Hopefully
to have
too.
interactions with other adults.
Yeah, and hopefully, with the numbers going down, I can do this live at the location. So hopefully that'll happen soon.
Cool, man.
Well, just how can people get a hold of you, man? I mean, where can they contact you at?
Yeah, social media platforms and stuff like that. But I have to be honest, man. I still have the same phone number from high school, and so anyone could feel free to text me or call me at 915-252-5989. I try to stay kind of active on Facebook and Instagram and things like that too. So you can, search for Justin Cates and find it there. And I always remind people, if you forget my name or whatever, just be like, just in case, just in case. Yeah. So just in case you're looking to buy or sell, Justin Cates keeps it real.
Nice.
Estate.
I will put all the information in the description below, so
Cool, man.
anyone can click on it, search you. And also, just a side note, man, when you put that sign up by my house over here off of Sean Haggerty and US 54, dude, that's like, I know that guy. And every time I see it at the corner eye, I'd be like, is he standing there? It's like, that's a darn sign of his, man. But
I always tell people, they're like, hey, I thought you were standing there. And I said, why didn't you stop? They're like, you were on the phone. I said, I was calling for a ride because no one would stop. So yeah, that's funny, man.
That was a crazy sign, man. I'll pop it up if I got it. So it'd be cool. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you joining me. I'll let you go, get back to the family. Awesome ad with the Daytona 500, dude. That was so cool. And then
cool. Thanks, man. Thanks for checking it out and sharing it.
Just so people know, that water was not heated, right?
No, dude, it was frigid. I was like below 60. That shot was taken like 2 days after it snowed. We had one snow this year, and so that still had snow water in it. It was brutal, but it's all good. It's all worth it, huh? For the shot.
We'll see if the people have to go click on it and check out the ad on your social media page. I did share it a little while ago, so hopefully people can check it out.
Oh, you did? Sweet, man. I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Oh, man. Well, just in case, give them a call. Looking for a house, looking to sell, looking to buy. Just in case is your man. Thanks, sir. Thank you again for joining me so much.
Thanks, Ray, man. I appreciate it. Great to see you again.
All right, man. Have a good one. We'll be in touch.
Okay.
All right. Bye.